Hello, Adriana and Eliza. I am making this series for you too, as I know that one of you is going to have a baby and one of you has had a baby. Things that you'll need are a set of light weights. I have 2 cans, or you could use hand weights, 2 pound, 3 pound max. Something else to have is a bath towel or a yoga block. Either one is going to work. And then access to a yoga ball or a chair. Yeah? So today we're going to start out by finding some mobility in the pelvis and hip joints. I think that I've been looking a lot on the internet for pre and postnatal workouts, and I feel like there's a lot of detail that's missing from the work. So my hope is that this video will give you tools to use when you are engaging with the pre and postnatal workouts that exist on the internet, and that you can know a little bit more about how your own body is going to respond to these kinds of exercises. For example, as we know with you, Adriana, doing a shell stretch doesn't actually feel great on your left SI joint because your left glute is just super duper tight. However, doing a cat-cow stretch probably feels a lot better. So I think that's like a key example of not every exercise that is listed as a pre and postnatal exercise is necessarily going to resonate with you. Okay, that being said, let's get started. So you're going to find yourself in 4-point kneeling, yeah? And we're just going to think about the entirety of our spine. So inhale to find the length of your spine. Exhale, you're going to hug the baby round your spine. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, you're going to let the weight of the baby sink forward. This is going to feel like a stretch in your low back. This may also feel like a very familiar place if you're Eliza when your belly was a little bit bigger and holding baby. Yeah? Exhale, hug the baby. Inhale, find length. Exhale, let that baby sink forward. Really feel the pelvic floor letting go. Yeah, so here's your letting go moment. Release. Exhale to round. Inhale, lengthen. On your exhale, as you let your belly sink forward, what I want you to think about now is how your tailbone lifts, and then this tailbone lift is what's letting your pelvic floor release. Yeah, so it's like that letting go rather than clenching feeling. One more time, exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Good, and then find your flat back. Okay, in your flat back, you're going to hug the baby. Find your abdominals wrapping from back to front. So inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Let that belly hang. Exhale. And now we're going to really think about adding a layer of control to this. So on my inhale, I'm not just going to let my belly hang, right? I'm going to, with control, let it release. That was not very controlled. Exhale. Let me try with a little bit more control. Inhale. That was better. Exhale. 2 more like that. Inhale. Exhale. Hugging the baby. 1 more. Cool. And as I did that, notice that my spine didn't change a lot. This was all about the abdominal wall. Okay, adding a little challenge. Hug the baby, find your flat back. You're going to extend your right arm forward. Hold the exhale. Inhale to bring that arm down. Exhale, left arm. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. 3 more. Inhale. Exhale. Try not to rock side to side in your pelvis, and also try not to rock towards your heels. Yeah, try to keep your pelvis directly aligned over your knees. Let's do 1 more on each side. Wonderful. Round your spine. Drop your head. On your next breath, find your flat back. We're going to up the challenge, okay? We're just going to take our left leg behind us. Keep your hips squared off to the floor. Don't sit into your right hip, okay? Pull from your low belly. Hug the baby. Shh. And float down. Hug the baby. Shh. And float down. 3 more. Exhale, float. Try to keep your leg long. 2 more. 1 more. Good. Moving to that right side. Extend the right leg. Keep your hips squared off to the floor. This is about pelvic stability. We're still in a warm-up phase, so we don't need to go crazy, yeah? From your low belly, lift that right leg. Just up to hip height, yeah? Don't do this with your back. Exhale, float. Find the length in the leg, and imagine that the length could actually assist in the lift. The length of the leg could assist in the lift as we go for 2. Back is straight, and 1. Yeah, so as you start to build more mass here of a baby, this posture is going to be more favorable or not favorable, but it's going to be where your body starts to go. So as the mass grows, it's going to feel more like you're rounding your spine, but actually you're just hugging your baby a lot, yeah, which pulls that belly up, not necessarily coming from the vertebra of your spine, right? Okay, let's up the challenge. Keep your flat back. Now extend your left leg long, reach your right arm in front of you, and we float. And now we alternate sides. Right leg, left arm, float. Yeah? This set is simply just to keep our flat back, avoid dumping in the low back, and avoid shifting your hips side to side. 1 more on each side. Last time, hug the baby. Beautiful. Go ahead and round your spine. Take a shell stretch, Eliza, if you'd like. Adriana, you can do your cat and your cow. Or you could try a shell stretch, but keep it like very shallow. Don't go so deep into that hip crease, yeah? Maybe it's up here. Awesome. All right. Last but not least, we're going to mess with we're going to add a little bit of challenge by adding flexion and flat back into the mix, okay? Again, the root of this movement is coming from your abdominal wall, so think less about the depth and the shape of your spine and actually think more about the initiation of the right muscle group. yeah, to be the engine for the exercise. So we're going to take a round back position by hugging the baby. Pull your left leg, right arm off the mat. Just first focus on whether or not you can maintain this balance. If that's easy for you, great. You're going to reach those limbs long. Find your flat back. Exhale, hug the baby, and pull in. Inhale, reach. Exhale, pull in. Make sure you didn't do this with your hips. Yeah, so you're not pulling in by sitting into that hip. 3 more. Reach. 2. Reach. 1 more. Whoa. And reach. And then bring that arm and leg down. Wiggle your hips side to side. Ooh. It's a little crunchy in there. And we'll pick right knee, left arm off the mat. Round your spine. That should have been the first thing, sorry. So round back, lift. Establish that balance. Make sure this shoulder, the stabilizing side, isn't elevating up to your ear. As we reach the spine long and pull in. Hug the baby. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. 2 more. Don't fall like I did. 1 more. And take that left arm, right knee down. Again, take your shell stretch or your shallow shell stretch or your cat-cow. Okay, friends, go ahead and sit on your bum. We're going to do some abdominal work. Let me tilt this camera down, see how we're doing on time. Okay, great. I'm trying to make this workout nice and short so that you can go on with your day as we shelter in place, or maybe do this in between your work time. Okay, so feet are hip distance apart. What I notice is pregnancy tends to make the external rotation feel like really good on the pelvis and hips because your pelvis is opening up, it's widening, and also tilting back this way. I would recommend and even challenge you both to try to do things in parallel if you can, just so that you don't get used to like one leg position throughout your pregnancy. Vary it. So turnout and parallel are both great. Also, we need to keep the tightness of the hips working in parallel rather than the length of the hips being used to being in turnout only, if that makes sense. Email me if that doesn't make sense. Okay, here we go. You're going to come all the way down to your flat back position. And again, if that transition was not accessible, you are more than welcome to slide yourself out and lay on your back. Okay? So here we are. Put your hands on the front of your hip bones. Check in with your feet. Make sure your feet aren't pushing into the ground to initiate this pelvic tilt. So we're going to tilt our pelvis from our abdominals. Inhale, find the length of your spine. Exhale, feel the length of your abs shortening. Inhale. Again, you're not pushing from your feet. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Last time, exhale. It's a totally different feeling to initiate this ab curl from my abs and not from my feet. Let me tell you that. Okay, keeping that corset wrap, that baby hug, we're gonna do an exercise called marching. Okay, so I'm in a slight pelvic tilt here. I'm not pushing into my feet. I'm gonna find my strong abdominals, soft neck. Inhale. Exhale, wrap the abs and float your right leg up to tabletop. Inhale to float it down. From your abs, exhale, float the left leg up. If you're doing it right, it's still a lot of work. I have no baby here, and it's still hard. Inhale. With control, we descend. Exhale. I'm pulling my abdominals in, hugging the baby. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. One more. Inhale. Good. And once your feet are settled on the floor, go ahead and rock your pelvis side to side. I'm letting my knees rock side to side. I'm letting my pelvis move side to side. Yeah, nice and gentle. Okay, turning this now into how we can connect our abdominals in length, okay? So I'm going to think about my slight pelvic tilt from my abs first, not from my feet. Now, keeping that strong, I'm going to slide my left leg along the mat. Heel slides are super slow and controlled. It's going to look like this. From my abs, inhale. I didn't tilt my pelvis to extend my leg. Exhale, right leg. Inhale. So as I'm pulling that leg in, I should not be pulling my pelvis into an arched position, okay? If you can't slide your leg all the way out without your pelvis doing funky things, well, maybe that's too far, and you just need to limit that range and not go as far. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, right leg. Inhale. If I'm doing this right, exhale. My leg feels very free. And it's my spine and my pelvis that actually feels super stable. Now we'll do one more on each side. Inhale. Exhale, extend. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Okay. Now, I'm going to grab my bath towel, and I want to start to create some, what's the word? Tensegrity is maybe what I'm thinking about. So tensegrity is, I think of this is like literally a baby's toy. And it's got all these beads on it. If I can find a diagram or a picture, I'll send it to you. And it's all connected by rubber bands. And it makes this very beautiful geometric shape. And when you pull on it, it resists your pull. So it stays intact as a shape. And yet at the same time, as I pull it apart, it moves with me, yeah? So it maintains a shape, and yet it has the flexibility to expand and contract and still keep its shape. So I like to think about the pelvis as the same thing. When you're pregnant, your pelvis is starting to pull apart and be stretchy in these really beautiful ways to make way and space for baby, but also we want to strengthen your muscles so that it can also keep it all together in the same shape. All right, so you want your towel to be about this thick. You could double it up. Well, it's a little bit awkward though, or use a yoga block. Yeah, you just want the towel or whatever prop you use to be thick enough that your body registers it as something to squeeze into and that you don't have to constantly remind yourself to squeeze into. Okay, so we are going to do some exercises regarding inner thigh squeeze. Yeah, and your inner thighs do connect into your abdominals. Yeah, so it's an inner thigh squeeze. That squeeze goes up through your pelvic floor into your abdominal wall. I want you to think of that whole sequence. Maybe we'll think of a visual like two highway lines going from the inseam of your knee up through past your pubic bone, through that pelvic floor, up until the ribs. So that's a ways away, right? And yet, totally possible. Okay, here we go. So we've got the towel. We're going to do this in a series of, let's try a series of 3. So I have my feet hip distance apart, legs parallel. I'm going to squeeze into that towel on my inhale. So I'm going to inhale for nothing. Exhale, I'm going to squeeze into that towel. I'm not squeezing my butt, I'm squeezing my inner thighs. I'm going to hold that squeeze and try to pull up through my pelvic floor to the count of 5. On my inhale, I'm going to slowly let that contraction go for a count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, try that again. It's super tricky to not squeeze your bum, I am realizing. So inhale for nothing. Exhale, squeeze and pulling up to your ribs. 4, 5. Inhale, letting it go. And exhale. 4, 5. Letting go. And again. Exhale. Going up to those ribs. 4, 5. Inhale. As you're letting go, think of that elevator going from the ribs down to the middle of your knees. The tricky part is your inhale. Your inhale is letting everything go on your inhale, and it feels counterintuitive, I understand, but I think this is going to be really helpful for giving your pelvic floor a flexibility. Yeah, one more time. Inhale for nothing. Exhale, squeeze and going in and up. 5. And inhale, let that elevator come down. Okay, friends, we are going to change up the breath pattern. Sorry, we're going to change up the breath pattern just because I think that inhale and exhale causes different things to happen in your spine, and I think it's worthy to know what happens. So usually as you inhale, your spine will extend, right? It'll lengthen and extend. On your exhale, naturally your spine will flex and compress. So I think this is going to be a little bit easier to feel in terms of what you're doing with your pelvic floor, okay? So inhale, we'll do this for a count of 5. Inhale and an exhale for a count of 5. And you're still thinking of the same cues of your inner thigh squeeze through your pelvic floor all the way up to the ribs. And from the ribs back down to the middle of your knees, okay? Inhale for 5. 5. Exhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. I didn't realize it's hard to inhale for 5. Inhale. It's probably even harder with a baby. Exhale. Okay. Last but not least, for our third set, we're going to extend the counts to a count of 8. Yeah? So it might mean you have to inhale and exhale slower. At least that's what I have to do. All right, let's go back to that first breath pattern. Give that a go. Inhale for nothing. Exhale, squeeze a towel for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, start to let go of that towel for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wow, that's hard. Exhale, squeeze in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One more time. Exhale. Inhale. Awesome. All right, so last but not least, as I tried out that last set, I realized how incredibly difficult it is to try to activate your pelvic floor without your glutes. So just as a side note, like just check in with your glutes every so often, check in with your feet, make sure your feet aren't gripping the ground. For our last, let's do one more rep of this, and I want you to wrap your hands specifically around your hip bones, and I want you to inhale, squeeze the towel in, and just notice if you feel your pelvic halves, like the 2 hip bones, like coming in towards each other. Okay, so you're not doing anything as far as moving your body. It's a muscle contraction. So you're going to inhale, squeeze the inner thighs in. So you're squeezing the towel, squeezing the yoga block, and you'll just feel it's very subtle, but yes, the bones do pull in towards each other. And on your exhale, you slowly let it go, and you'll feel your bones widening. Wow. We'll try that again. Inhale, squeezing the towel in. Notice the musculature around the hip bones. Those fibers are pulling into your center line. And yeah, those sides of your hips, the crest of your hip bones, they're coming in towards each other, really. You can even give them a little bit of a push if you'd like in. And then give it a little bit of an opening as you exhale and start to let go of that towel. Now you'll feel those pelvic halves open in this direction towards the sacrum iliac joint, which is probably, Adriana, where you're feeling a bit of congestion. So maybe when you squeeze the towel in and you pull those pelvic halves together, maybe that feels like a little relief or release on your SI joint. And Adriana, you are more than welcome to try this exact same pelvic floor exercise with a ball underneath your glute. Yeah, to the side of your SI joint, if you're curious. If that's too many things to think about, because really, like, there's so much going on, like, don't worry about it. We can talk about it in a session. Okay, friends, that was so much longer than I wanted it to be. Please send me an email with some feedback. I want to know what you want to know because I find this fascinating and exciting. Shoulders and mid back are absolutely super crucial to when you pre and postnatal, but especially for the post, because you're doing a lot of baby lifting and it's inevitable that it's going to be like a part of your body that you're using a lot. Yes. Okay. I will do a separate workout video specifically for upper body. That way you have it in sections. Sorry, we never got to the cans and we never got to the chair. Sad face. Okay, talk soon, and thanks for tuning in and taking care of your bodies. Bye.